Where the Temenos appears, all hope fades. It is the cataclysm that came to Crete, the miracle of the punished, the source of the plague, the pyramid of the Centimanes. It is the truth of the labyrinth made flesh and stone and void, a primordial of immense size and power, more force of nature than mortal creature. In the end, it will surely consume us all. Hello people, and welcome to our next video in the Aeon Trespass playthrough that we're doing. This is going to be our first recorded battle with Temenos. I'm excited to get into it. Let's jump over to our battle cam view over here. And before we get into the fight, I'll do a little bit of introduction of Temenos. But first off, again, let's start by just looking at the artwork for this thing. Let's see if it'll come through in this camera. I mean, that's just so cool. Once again, I think I do it like at least once a video, just talk about the awesome artwork in this game. Really cool, thematic. It's such a neat art style too. Anyway, Temenos is the boss primordial of the cycle. This is, like I mentioned, the first time we're going to be fighting him in our recorded series. I was expecting to have to fight him at the end of the a Doom card, but instead we're fighting him at the end of the story card, and I actually forget how that kind of balance goes between the different cycles. So, you know, I was expecting one thing. I've played this whole cycle before, and I still get surprised when things happen. So it's a good quality about the game. Temenos is a hard primordial because he's kind of the boss one, similar to Pursuer, where when you're initially fighting him, you don't have to do the full set of wounds. For Temenos, we're only going to have to get 4 wounds in order to be able to get out of this fight. Before I started recording, I had mentioned this before, the Pyramidion is a weapon that comes from Temenos. You can get it by going further into the fight with him and getting to 9 wounds. It's hard to get. We had gotten it before because we were using a boon from a Pharaoh's Delve that allowed us to get, the top BP card showing at all times during the fight. And it just happened to be good timing that it came up with a Temenos battle. So we don't have that now. So this is going to be my first fight since then, actually. Yeah, this will be my first fight with Temenos since we got the Pyramidion. So hopefully we're going to use it against him and use it to kick his butt. Let's see, what are some other traits that we want to get into here? Yeah, we don't have to deal the full 10 wounds to him. I mean, I don't think I've shown. I think I showed him a little bit in one of the first videos, but just to get him on camera a little bit more. I mean, I'm not really a painter, and the inside of his mouth might look like a candy corn, but I'm still pretty happy with this paint job overall. I think he's one of my favorite to look at, just sitting on the shelf. Yeah, he looks kind of. It's funny, like certain camera angles make some of the tentacles look much longer and intimidating, but I think even from just above, he looks pretty cool sitting there on the map. Let's see. I'll go over his primordial sheet a little bit here. What's going to be a good view to do this? Yeah, sure, let's do this. Did I already mark off the box for him for our next fight? Let's check in Scribe. Evolution, yes, okay, I did mark it off when I was doing setup. Very good. But here we go. With Temenos, we have, it's going to take an 8 or higher to hit him. He has 6 movement, so it is possible to do OOR evades on him. And he does have a max health of 10, but again, we're just trying to get 4 wounds. We'll probably just get in and out of this fight because we don't want to lose more Titans. He has a trait called Ariadne's Logic, which says, hey, when he's attacked from a labyrinth tile, Temenos has -1 AT. Oh, wonderful, that sounds. Let's do that, you might think. But maybe not, because we're going to jump down to this other trait down here called Maze Reconfiguration, which says when Temenos is instructed to place a labyrinth tile under a Titan that is already on a labyrinth tile, that Titan draws an obol instead. So there's a bit of a high risk, medium reward. I mean, getting effectively 1 power or -1 AT is very good, but you do have to be careful with that. But it's something that, I mean, sometimes I just kind of forget about the Ariadne's Logic trait, but it is something that can really come in handy if you were trying to wound a BP2 or a BP3. I mean, even a BP1 if you can make it work. And we will actually be able to maybe take more advantage of this trait with some of the gear that we have, because we have two pieces of equipment now that allow us to, really 3 pieces of equipment that allow us to ignore labyrinth tiles for the sake of attacks and line of sight and adjacency and all that good stuff. So we have that on the Maze Rake, we have that on the Yarn Talisman, and we have that on the Unseen Scar. So 3 of our 4 Titans can ignore those labyrinth tiles for the sake of attacks, which is pretty nice. Let's see, some of the other traits. He has End of Hope. So similar to the non-toying version of the Pursuer, he's going to do Signature at the end of every round. He's similar, I'm trying to think about, in terms of like difficulty of Temenos versus the non-toying Pursuer. They're similar, I would say. Pursuer is maybe, I would say Pursuer is maybe a little bit harder because I think his BP3s can get up to higher AT values, so it can be harder to finish off Pursuer. And I think some of Pursuer's attacks are just more likely to one-shot kill you. Temenos can be very nasty. He's going to deal a lot of despair, which we'll see during the fight. So it's important to be able to either have gear that can maybe ignore despair tokens and make sure you're like wounding enough consistently to be able to shed that despair off, or being able to group Titans together and have them be able to ignore that despair, at least in terms of the penalties for when you're trying to attack and get rid of that despair. Let's see, he also has Maze Sense, so Labyrinthoros also has this trait as well. Temenos and Labyrinthoros share a number of traits, but Maze Sense allows the Temenos to also ignore labyrinth tiles for the sake of line of sight. So most things in this fight, even though these labyrinth tiles are considered obstacles and they're obscuring as well, so they can block line of sight, most of the things in this fight are actually going to be ignoring it when they're attacking. And then we have Labyrinth X. So this is, again, similar to Labyrinthoros. Alpha Temenos can put labyrinth tiles down and use them to thwart our plans for attacking and such. The Temenos does have a VP vantage point, and let me go back to this view. Unlike Labyrinthoros, Temenos has a removable section of his what's it called, of his miniature here. I'm hard pressed to call this a miniature. It's probably weighs like a pound, maybe half a pound. It's beefy, but he has a removable section of his miniature, and let me go grab the actual stand that can replace it. 1 second. He has this other physical piece that you can put on him, and then he now has, trying to make sure I get this on the camera, I'm looking over my shoulder here. He basically now has a platform that if you unlock this VP, you can now physically place your Titans on it and have them just smacking him from above, and it's just really cool. So something that I really love about these miniatures, and when I'm doing fights in the Menestus Theater, I might be putting the physical VPs in less frequently, but I think especially during the in-cycle fights where you're fighting them less often and the fights are a little bit more thematic, I love putting them in and just making the fight a little bit cooler. Let's see here. Some quick notes on loadout. I'm not going to go over everything in detail. One of the major changes that I did was I kind of swapped up most of the equipment between Anacreon and Oleander. So I still have Solon is technically still piloting, or I'm sorry, Anacreon is still piloting Solon, Oleander is still piloting Herodotus. But I swapped them so that Solon is going to be kind of our other like tankier Titan, the one that we want Temenos, one of the ones that we want Temenos to go after. And I did that because we're already starting off with 3 danger and 3 fate for Oleander. And having him take one of the first attacks from the Primordial would be a little bit tough because he is more likely to have to immediately handle a fate gate on that AI card, which will make the AI a little bit more deadly. He's already got, he's already 33% of the way to drawing a noble. Well, I guess 25% because it technically takes 10 danger to get there, but yeah, you get my point. Or really 30%. Don't. It's like 5:40 a.m. here. Don't get on me about math. I can't handle that right now. I'm not here to do math. I'm just here to fight Temenos. Let's see. Any other gear things that we want to go over before we start? I don't think so. Potentially we're going to get our 8th notch on the Pyramidion. Yeah, we have 7 already. So we are so close to being evolved this. It would be really thematic if this was going to be the 9th fight where we could try to evolve Pyramidion. Also, I can't remember actually if we get, when you deal that wound in the middle of a fight, resolve the fate. Oh yeah, maybe this would immediately change and evolve mid-battle to the Perisclipios. Ooh, oh, that would have been cool to do it against Temenos, but hey, can't plan everything out perfectly here. I think it's still fun to be able to smack him up with it, but I think let's just get started into this fight. I just want to get moving here. So everything else is already mixed around. We do have to draw our minor trauma card over here, draw the top one from the deck. And let's just go to this camera. Let's see what we got here. We have Feint. So he is going to be facing to the left. Okay. So this is not quite what I was hoping. I was hoping he was either going to be facing south or east, but I think we can make this work. I'll just need to rethink things a little bit. But yeah, so before we actually get into the fight too, a little bit about the positioning that I did, we have, oh shoot, I maybe should have, well, I would have had to do this before I decided on the minor trauma for positioning. I probably should have swapped some Titans around and had him, his signature allows him to attack the furthest Titan not in front in range. So it specifically says not in front. I guess we can go ahead and put that here just to show it. So generally what's going to happen is that, especially during the first round, he's going to go to one of these Titans and then he's going to go to the opposite Titan in the opposite corner. And what I really should have been doing here is I should have, I had Solon and Ulyssia here. I probably should have swapped them over here just to, what's it called? Just to have them, we do this fight and we're not near the city tiles, but too late. I already did the primordial placement there, so we'll just live with it and just hope we can end it before we end up having to accidentally crush a city with a maze tile and hurting our diplomacy with the faction. Yeah, and I was hoping to be able to have Solon be the first person, Solon be the first person attacked, and then bounce over to Ulyssia, but we will have to swap that around because most likely the AI will probably target Titan in front. Yeah, all right, with that, let's draw our first AI card here. We have right tentacle swipe. Temenos swipes at you with one of its innumerable tentacles. This is going to be closest Titan in front in range. And I want to think about the placement of him a little bit. So we know he's going to be going after Odyssey here. So we'll put that, move the signature out and replace it with the AI card here. And so we know, like, we can either have Temenos go here and attack, or we can have him go here and attack. And it's going to be an important choice because depending on the choice we make now, it's going to determine how he positions himself when he tries to go after Solon for that attack against him. Because let's say if we go this position, Temenos is now going to want to target Solon after this AI and go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and attack Solon from the side over here. Alternatively, if we have Temenos positioned here, he could go after Solon and end up in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 here. So basically we're trying to determine, like, once we're in the Titan round, like, where would we prefer Temenos to be? And I think I would prefer Temenos to be here effectively. Because I think that'll make him a little bit easier to hit for everybody involved, because yeah, Phyloctera has the Yarn Talisman, she can hit through that labyrinth wall there. Odyssey has the Maze Rake, she'd be able to have reach. This might work out pretty well. Yeah, all right. So going back to how we started off with Temenos, he was here facing that way, and now we're going to have the right tentacle swipe. So it is a zone attack, but it still has a specific target, so Temenos is going to move to get adjacent to that target. But before we move, we have to do this gain a despair token. So we're already seeing the despair tokens come up. Most of, if not all of his attacks have a targeting line, or a line after the targeting that just says gain a despair token. So fun stuff. If you don't wound consistently in this fight, like if your Titan doesn't wound for 2 rounds or so, you're really getting into some unfortunate territory there. So it's a fun thematic fight because it's like Temenos is supposed to be this creature that is causing this, like, hopelessness in Crete, and we're seeing that actually play out as a mechanic in the fight. I've also felt that hopelessness against the Pursuer. Sometimes Primordials just have a common theme of hopelessness, but Temenos brings it home. All right, so let's have Temenos go, what do we say? We can go 1, 2, 3 and have him go here. We're not going to be able to OOR evade this first attack with Temenos, but we should be able to excuse me, evade the signature against against Solon with the OOR. Sorry, I needed some water real quick. Apologies if I say anything wrong or dumb as we're going through this fight. I'm still getting my caffeine for the morning. All right. So for this right tentacle swipe, we gained our despair token, we moved, and now it's time to attack. Yeah, so here if we had 3+ fate and we had Herodotus going right now, or if Herodotus was our target like we normally have him attacked, he would have been gaining 2 despair tokens instead of 1. So yeah, just be cautious of who you are choosing as, like, your tank Titans going into a fight, because you might prefer certain Argonauts to be the tank based off their nemesis. Sometimes the level of fate or danger or rage that you have might influence that decision and sway you one way or another. So don't just get too hard set in your mindset of, like, this person has to be the tank. So yeah, be flexible. Now we're gonna get 3 dice to try to evade. We need a 10 or higher. Of course, we're not going to evade anything there. Let's see, is that coming up on camera? Oh, that top number is a 4. Yeah, I haven't really been able to get rid of this shadow here. I apologize. I have another light that I've tried to use in that spot. but it doesn't really work. It doesn't really get rid of the shadow completely, and it just is kind of getting in my way. So yeah, I'm not gonna keep trying to do it. Let's see here. Oh, no, I'm sorry. We have the Instinct Lenothorax? I forget how you pronounce. I looked up how you pronounce that word. Instinct Thorax. Anyway, it gives me +1 to evasion. So this 9 actually does evade. So that's fun. So we're at risk of taking 4 danger now. We need. Do I want to try? I'm going to be trying to end this fight pretty early. So yeah, it might be worth trying to re-roll both of these, just to see if we can get ourselves down to a minor trauma, because we don't have anything to reduce the damage with like an armor roll or something like that. So let's just see if we can make use of that evasion, and absolutely not. Nope, a 2 and a 3 don't even add up to a 9. So we're gonna take 2 hits. It's gonna be 4 danger, and then we're gonna suffer knockdown. Darn. Well, that's why we got stand up on most of our Titans. That was something I prioritized when I was going into this fight. I mean, in this cycle, I feel like I end up just saying, okay, I really want my Titans to have the ability to stand up and ability to reflex. In a lot of cases, I just think that having a lot of that, I don't know, my fights have gone so poorly in the last few battles that maybe I need to reevaluate that. But especially against Temenos, he's going to be knocking people down, especially with like BP responses. He has a lot of zone knockdowns, like knockdown zone 1. So reposition and things like that can be really handy. And those, in a lot of those cases, he does not have a window of opportunity to allow you to try to evade beforehand, or not evade, but step away from it beforehand. Let's see here. Something I didn't actually even consider before coming into this, but is actually going to work for us. But I'll get to it when I get to it. So we go from 0 danger to 4 danger. We're going to go up to a major trauma, and this is part of just because of me talking all the time. I don't always consider everything. Oh, gain the dread condition card. Oh, that stinks. Oh, kind of. Well, I wouldn't have wanted Phylacter to get this up front, but actually, this is not too bad, because so gain the dread condition card, major trauma. I'm gonna go back there. So we're gonna give Ulysses a dread, and we're actually gonna, this is like the only real use case that Siren Survivor has in the first cycle here, which is you can use it to get rid of fear/dread. Excuse me. So we will actually be able to take advantage of that. I did kind of screw myself a little bit, I think, by taking Siren Survivor with Telebacchus when we got him. Yeah, so if you haven't watched that video, like a house rule that I like to do when I'm creating a new Argonaut is, instead of just drawing, like I think you're technically supposed to just draw one random Nemos from your Nemos vault, and that's just the Nemos that Argonaut gets. I like having choice in my game, like it just makes it a more fun experience for me. So I like to just randomly draw 2 and then pick one, and we had the option between Siren Survivor and what's the one that unexhausts a thing? A Night to Remember. That one. And A Night to Remember is just better. I mean, objectively better, at least in the first cycle. But we had already seen some of the story from that, so I was like, we'll choose Siren Survivor because we haven't seen any story from that on camera here. But so I made that choice for viewership. All 1 or 2 people who are actually watching this. But anyway, and I keep saying I want to speed these fights up, but when I go on these tangents like this, it does not help anything. All right, so we got our danger, we got our major trauma. We are going to now suffer knockdown.
Yep, there's nothing we can do about this right now, so we're going to just tippy tip ourselves over.
and gain that knockdown condition. So we're just loading up on conditions for Ulysses here. And then after final attack, because if there were multiple Titans in the zone here, we would have to resolve this attack against all of them. So even though you might want to be grouping Titans up for that despair, you do have to be careful because Temenos has a bunch of zone attacks. We have knockback 8 to the left and then labyrinth 1. So the thing that I said, oh, I didn't take that into account was I didn't read down on this card to think about the knockback 8, because potentially that should have influenced our choice on like where we moved him to, here or here, because it would ultimately determine which direction Ulysses gets knocked back. And ideally, because she has the ability to stand up, we would prefer to her to be knocked back in a place where at least she can still stand up and then get an attack off in the coming Titan round. But we got lucky because he's going to knock her back 8 to the left, which means 1, 2, and just go here. She's going to suffer crash. We can still tumble out of that, I think. Boom. Well, that was almost a 10, but then it was not. It was a 4. So the only thing we're really going to suffer from crash here is that danger. It brings us from 4 to 5. And then we will labyrinth 1, and yes, he also starts off by generously giving a square labyrinth tile. So put it facing that way. Oops, still knocked down. And Hermes Rake does give her, actually, let's see, how do we, no. I want to put it like this, because Temenos is about to be here, and we want to make sure that she can get an attack off, and this just makes no sense to me. Okay. That card is resolved. Put that in our AI discard, and then we're going to do signature. Targeting for a signature, this is the Tentacle Strike. Temenos strikes you with one of its innumerable tentacles. Wasn't that the same text that was on Temenos swipes at you with one of its innumerable tentacles. This is Temenos strikes you with one of its innumerable tentacles. We have furthest Titan not in front, in range. So that target is going to be Solon because he is 6 spaces away and not in front. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And so Temenos, actually, technically should be doing this before we move. We should do our reflex to OOR. But I just like to do the movement for the sake of like figuring out where I want him to be positioned. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is where he would be at. And before he did that movement, we would want to do a reflex with Solon. I'm just debating if I want to use Pursuer Protocol or his Iapetus Lifeguard. Doesn't really matter. Let's use Pursuer Protocol just to save the fate, because why not? And hopefully we're not going to be lasting. I mean, ideally we could end this fight in this 1 Titan round. Most likely it'll take 2 Titan rounds, but we'll see. We'll see if we can get maybe a good round going here. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling like we're going to turn our luck around on wounding things. I feel good about it. I'm going to will that into existence. So yeah, we reflex 1. We're going to reflex backwards 1. And then we will be there. Oh, and he also, Solon would get a despair token. Boom. Boom. Done. After attack, we are still going to labyrinth with Temenos. So we have to put an L tile down right now. Which way do we want it facing? Solon does not have a, what's it called? Anything that allows him to hit through. He's our only Titan that cannot hit through the labyrinth tiles, so we're going to face it like that. This is a position that if we were worried about this fight going on for a long time, like if this is a 10 wound fight, I might think a little bit more about like, oh, well, you know, can maybe go this way if you want to give him an escape route out this way and you're still trying to keep Temenos in the middle, or yeah, anyway, I'm just not thinking too much about the positioning here because I think we can hopefully move along with this fight, and that just fits nicely in there. Just, it looks pleasing to me. How does that show up on camera? I haven't really been paying attention to the glare during these battles on the camera. It looks good. Yeah, okay, that looks fine. All right, we are now in the Titan round. See, that wasn't so bad. I think this is another thing that can make Temenos a bit easier than the Pursuer. I'm hesitant of jinxing myself because I've seemed to have been doing that a lot recently. But one of the things that can make Temenos a little bit easier is that he's at least a little bit more predictable in terms of who he's going after. Like, I think most of his AI cards are targeting the priority target or going for closest in front. I think sometimes closest in sight. And then his AI card or his signature is, what's it called? Going to the furthest in sight, or yeah, furthest not in front. Anyway, so you can maybe predict a little bit more the directions he's going. At least that's kind of the vague memories I have of his fights and how they've played out a little bit so far. And I actually am going to switch the position of this because if we switch the position of this, we can have, I don't think we're going to want to go first with Solon, but we can have him come out. He is still piloted by Anacreon, who still has the I Dream You Hold Nemos, which allows other Titans to gain 1 precision when they're adjacent to him. So yeah, but we also may want to take advantage of that -1 AT. Anyway, this might give us some flexibility to move out and give Herodotus that +1 to precision if we want it on him. We're in the Titan round. We can go ahead and remove this charge off Pursuer Protocol. It is readied again. So some things that I'm thinking about as I'm deciding who I want to go first. Like I'm leaning towards Ulysses going first because she can use Rush right now because she meets the danger gate criteria, so she'd be able to get an auto break off with that, and she also has 5 danger, which would allow her to get the opening 2 from the Maze Rake, so that could be a nice weapon to start with. May still use Arrow Barrage for that because maybe we want her to, we might want to make sure that she hits with the Maze Rake, gets a full hit off, but I'd still be on the fence about that because we may want to save Arrow Barrage for Phylacteria. However, I'm also a bit cautious of Temenos facing, what's his name, Solon here, because I don't remember how many BP cards that Temenos have that would do a Labyrinth as a response, either a wound or fail or instinct. And if he Labyrinths, I'm actually not sure which would take priority, right? So for instance, let's say Ulysses came over, wounded or like attacked Temenos and got a BP response that said to Labyrinth 1. Labyrinth would be like, generally you'd have to put it in these empty spaces here. The next up tile would be a Z, so we might be able to have to fit it in somewhere around here, like at least one space of that tile has to be in front of and adjacent to Temenos. However, I don't know if, how does this work in terms of prioritizing, like is Temenos going to I mean, it does say, the rules for Labyrinth do say, like, if Temenos can place a Labyrinth tile underneath of a Titan, or not even just Temenos, if a Primordial can place a Labyrinth tile underneath of a Titan with that Labyrinth, they will. Normally, you cannot place a Labyrinth tile over top of another Labyrinth tile, but in this case, Temenos basically has an ability that allows him to do that. So I think, yes, I think if Ulyssia attacked and she got a response that caused a what's it called? An obol, then we'd have to draw an obol with Solon. But I don't remember many of his responses having Labyrinth. Oh, I forget for BPs. So it's kind of a risk we're taking there, but we just maybe we still want to go first with Ulyssia, but we just want to keep that in mind of, like, maybe don't let Solon wait too long before he goes, or we try to find a way to turn. Well, actually, we cannot turn the Temenos because, oh, never mind. He has the lumbering trait, which I was thinking it meant he could not be forcefully moved in any way, like suffer involuntary movement in any way, but really it's just that he cannot suffer pushback or knockback. Oh, wait a second. I don't think I ever realized that a Primordial with lumbering could still suffer pull? What? Yeah, I mean, by definition, you could suffer pull. Wow. I never knew that. Huh. That's interesting to know. I don't know if that changes anything, like any strategy that I'm going to do in this fight. Yeah, it wouldn't help us. I mean, the Maze Rake has pull 1, but I don't think that's, like, going to really help us a lot here. But, wow, that's good to know. Okay, that makes pull a little bit more interesting to me. Sorry, just reading some things here. Oh, also, I'm dumb. Unseen Scar doesn't have anything to do with Labyrinth tiles. Why did I keep thinking it did? No, Unseen Scar just avoids the penalty of 1 despair token. Oh, yeah, that's right. The Labyrinth tile effect that it has is if you crit evade fail, places the Labyrinth tile under your Titan. Whoops. Okay. Yeah. If I remembered that it had just gone under or prevented despair, not prevented despair, helps avoid the penalty of a despair token, I might have put that on Solon instead, or Ulyssia, but whoops. My fault for misremembering and not reading. Okay, so the order that I think I'm going to do things in ideally is Ulyssia goes, we use Arrow Barrage with her to get opening tokens in the pool, because I really just, starting off with our first at Titan missing, I think I just don't want to do that right now. I'd like to try to keep the illusion of hope that I can try to get to 4 wounds in 1 round. And so I think the best path of, like, spreading out our tokens for that and giving us a good chance of doing that is Ulyssia goes, we use Arrow Barrage and Rush with her. At the end of her turn, she'd be leaving 2 opening from the Maze Rake, 1 break from her Kratos pool. Then maybe we go next with either Phylacteria or Solon. And then they would attack, let's say if we went with Phylacteria next, she would be leaving in, let's see, she would have -2 from, because we can get into a rear space, she'd have -2. That worked out from that aspect. -2 from that. Well, we can ignore the Dread. Also, I did confirm, I was looking at Discord, and in a Q&A, the Into the Unknown team did comment that you can use Morpheus module to ignore the effects of dread or fear, but still resolve the face your fear effect. So I like that thematically. I think that makes sense to me. It's kind of like, oh, well, you know, you got a headache or something, and you are taking some painkiller to relieve the pain for your headache, and you're treating the pain. Your body's doing something in the meantime to help like meet the condition of that headache should go away, but so once the effect of the painkiller wears off, then oh look, your headache's gone. So I don't know. At least that's the way I read it. But I think it's cooler that way anyway. Phylacteria or Solon goes 2 or 3. Maybe those are interchangeable there, depending on how we want to set up the tokens. And then Herodotus would probably go last because he's going to leave the least amount of tokens in the pool. And we might want to save the Force Kratos reaction for him to allow him to go up to 2 rage when he attacks. Also, he could rush too, but getting him to 2 rage would allow him to get the power reroll, which we might need because he's more likely to be trying to hit a BP2. So anyway, all right, I think with all that said, I think the order that we want to start with is we're going to start on Ulyssia. Activate her. We are going to use, let's see, what's the order that we have to do this? First, we're going to stand up. Spend a fate to do that. Discard our knockdown card there. Standing up. Next, we will use Siren Survivor. I'm not even going to put that token on there. It's useless right now. We're going to discard a condition card. So we're going to discard Dread. We do not resolve the Face Your Fear effect on that. Also this. Yeah, okay. I would assume Pyramidion is just only when the Titan wielding Pyramidion resolves the Face Your Fear effect. It'd be kind of silly to me otherwise. Let's see. Then what do we want to do? Yeah, we're going to do Rush. So that's going to be another fate. We're going from 4 to 5. And we're going to be attacking, so we'll go from 0 to 1 rage. Go 1. Oh, and before we did that, actually, we do want to use the Arrow Barrage here. Let's get 2 openings in the Kratos pool. Hopefully start ourselves off on a good note here. We're going to go 1, 2, 3. And she is going to attack. We're going to get 2 dice. We have +2 from the Maze Rake. We have -1 from our Despair token. And we have +2 from our opening token. So we have +3 total. So we will need 5 or higher to hit. We got a 9 and a 10. Cool. That will hit. So it'll give us 4 red total. We're going to get a break in there from our Rush. That auto break. And we are going to have to deal with this meaty tentacle. Big, meaty tentacle. Had some technical difficulties with the OBS app on my phone, which is like the main camera I'm recording with. So I'm going back to when the footage was last good. So we're about to do the power roll for our meaty tentacle BP. Yep, okay, so we still wound here. It's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 power. That's plenty. So we don't have any Titans in Zone 1, so we're not going to have anybody suffer knockdown. However, Ulyssia is going to gain the danger. Was I it? Go up to 7. That's fine. So we increase our danger because we dealt that wound. We're going to be able to get rid of our Despair there. We're going to get our BP card into our wound stack there. And now we're going to shuffle in a BP 2 into our into our BP stack. All right, we're going to stop in 3, 2, 1, BP 1. Okay. Take out an AI1 and put in an AI2 and slap in 3, 2, 1, AI1. Okay. So let's see, now we are going to come back to this view. We'll take our red dice out here. And we're going to clear the Kratos pool. We're going to get 2 opening from our maze rake. Then we can use pool 1 because we can actually pull a lumbering primordial apparently. But I don't think we have any reason to. And a reason not to would be that we, if we don't pull them, we can actually try to wound Temenos from the maze tile with both Solon and with Ulyssia. Ulyssia could still do it, I think, if we pulled, but we'll leave it as is. So we're not going to do that pull, nor will we do the reposition, I don't think. Actually, maybe reposition like here in case there's like a zone 2 thing, and then she might be able to reflex out of that, potentially. Not really a big deal, but we'll go ahead and do that. All right, and then we have a break from our Kratos table for Ulyssia. And that will mean her turn is over. So now the question becomes, do we want to try to wound next with Phylactera or with Solon? And I think we're going to do Phylactera next because what she can do is, if she goes, then she could leave just 2 opening tokens in the Kratos pool for Solon, because Solon will have auto break, and that'll help. The opening tokens will help counteract the despair token that he has on him. So yeah, let's go next with Phylactera. And we are going to go through the side over here. 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's a little risky because she may have to draw an obol. Do we really care about that minus AT? I think we might as well. So before we attack, we're going to gain a fate to use the Morpheus module so we can ignore the effects of dread for this turn. And let's see, I think that's the only thing that we want to do there. So now we will attack. We're going to have 2 dice. And we need, what do we need? We have +2 to hit. We're ignoring the dread. So we're gonna need 6 or higher to hit. Ooh, that is a 9 and a 6. So that's good. These dice out of here. And then, let's see, we will have 2 black and a red power dice, and then another red. Get this BP1 here. And let's see, Maze Seed, AT of 5, but we're only going to need 4 because Temenos has -1 AT when attacked from, oh, actually, is this? When attacked from a labyrinth, yeah, okay. So it's when a Titan is attacking from the labyrinth tile, not when the Temenos is standing on it. If your weapon has a spear trait, I don't think it does. No, it has slab, sword, club, stone, alive, labyrinth, and primordial. Okay. Oh, interesting. We get if we get the wound effect, we get a fear condition. Then maybe we actually want to stick around for one more Titan round and have her attack again and get rid of it. Oh, actually, what is the order of operations here? I'd assume as soon as I wound, I think this comes into play a lot in cycle 3. As soon as I deal make the power roll, and then I consider to have, like, when exactly does the resolve the face your fear effect happen? Okay, I need to look something up because I need to look at the timing of this. Okay, I think I'm going to drive myself nuts if I try to figure out, like, technically how this should really work. Here's where my confusion is. So we have dread, right? Normally with dread, if you have dread and you get fear, you just die immediately. Because it says if you gain this condition card a second time or gain the fear condition card, you die. However, we are ignoring the effects of dread, ignore the effects of despair, fear, or dread until the end of your turn. So it's like, okay, well, would I, like, first of all, when do we actually resolve the face your fear effect? Because technically the wounds and escalation step of attacking doesn't happen until step 8, but you resolve primordial responses in step 7. However, I think other things, I'm trying to remember back to how I played this before, because I think there's other primordials where it's like the timing of when you resolve these like condition effects matters. But I think what really happens is that, like, as soon as I deal this wound, or really as soon as I roll enough power to, but it says when you deal a wound. Yeah, I think effectively what would happen is that as soon as I have this power, I mean, I still have to do my power roll, so can't forget that. Still need to do the power roll, so I'm just kind of guessing at what might happen from this wound effect. But, like, I was trying to decide, is there an argument to say that, like, okay, well, I'm immune from dread, so I can still gain fear. But then, okay, so we gain fear as part of the primordial response, then we resolve the wounds and escalation. But then now, if you don't resolve the face your fear effect as soon as you do, like, you consider to have wounded, then this BP would be silly, this wound effect would be silly, because it'd be like, oh, okay, well, you gain the fear condition card, and then, like, you do that in step 7 of the attack, and then in step 8 you would deal the wound and escalate, and so then you would immediately get rid of the fear condition card. So no, that wouldn't make any sense. So all right, let's first make the power roll, but I think I know how this, I don't know how it's justified by, like, the rules, but I think I know how it should actually work here. So we're gonna make a power roll. We needed 5, right? Or no, we needed 4. So 2, 3, 4, and then we have at least 1 break, so we're at 5, so we're good. So what I think is going to happen here is that we would immediately resolve the face your fear effect on our dread condition. So let's see, that would go away. We would get 2 positive precision tokens. And then we would get a mark on our Pyramidion. So we're at 8 out of 9. These come out. We still need to do the wound effect, which would be gain the fear condition. So now we're going to gain the fear condition. Then we will now add this to our wound stack. Go to 2 wounds, then we escalate, add another BP2 in. Remember, we're targeting 4 wounds right now. We're going to stop in 3, 2, 1. BP1 still. Whew, okay, nice. AI1 comes out. AI2 goes in. Stop in 3, 2, 1. AI2. Okay, clear the Kratos pool. Oh, I wasn't showing the main camera on that one. I apologize, but I'm not doing more retracing of my steps in this video. We clear the Kratos pool. We're going to get 1 opening from Pyramidion, and then we're going to get, I think we decided we were going to do another opening for Solon to use because he has auto break. Cool. I'm happy with this. And let's see, what else do we have? I think that's all we have for second ability window. So that is going to end Phylacteris' turn. And we need to show her as activated. Let's go back to our main camera here while I take a sip of water. Now next we have to go with Solon because he still has the Left Behind, Fated Nemos. So, let's see. What I am deciding between is would I rather run up an attack and focus on getting that -1 AT, or would I rather go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? Oh, well, he's not going to have reposition. Oh, but he could do the Eulapile engine. And go like here, and then allow Solon to go next to him and get the +1 precision bonus from him. I think I'm going to prioritize getting the precision bonus to Herodotus because with Solon we can at least use the Death Follows Nemos to be able to get an extra red die. We can blow that early to help ensure we I think that'd be kind of equivalent to getting like a -1 AT, maybe, unless we're unlucky. I mean, -1 AT is still better, but I would like to have that +1 precision for Herodotus, I think. So yeah, let's do that. We're going to gain a fate with Solon. We're going to use the Eulapile engine and go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 here. Then we will gain a rage to attack. Oh, let's get on camera 2 there. Gaining a rage, so we're now at 1 rage with Solon. I think we said we wanted to save that Force Kratos reaction for Herodotus, so let's continue to do that. And now we're going to get, what do we need here? We have 2 opening tokens. We have no other bonus to precision, so we need a 6 or higher. And we have a 6, just enough. Okay, so is there anything else we want to do in the first ability window? Oh yeah, we have our auto break 2 from the lovely naval ram. And that will give us our BP here. 5, we have leg trunk. So if we wound, we're going to get knockback 7 and gain a danger. No, just knockback 7 in general. So we're not going to go very far because we'd hit a wall. But we're going to get a black and a red from our naval ram, and then a red from our Titan power die, and then we're going to use Death Follows to get another red. Ooh. Oh, wait. Go back. I need a 7 or higher to hit because I didn't take into account the despair token that Solon has. So he needs a 7 or higher. Okay, wait. We're going to go back here. Oh, okay. Well, hopefully we hit on this. We do need to gain a fate to re-roll. Okay, we got a 9 there. All right, so we still hit. Glad I caught that. So yeah, we have our black, our red, and then a red from Death Follows. And we have a power reroll as well. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's enough. We're going to get knockback 7. 1, then knockback here and suffer crash. Does he have tumble? He does not have tumble now. So we're going to suffer crash. We're going to gain a danger from crash. We're going to gain another danger, which will be coming up from the wound response 2. It's 2 danger. This despair token goes away, and we have knockdown. Comes out. Let's go into our wound pile. We have 3 wounds now. Escalate, add another BP2 in. Three, two, one. BP2, all right. AI1 comes out. AI2 goes in. Stop at 3, 2, 1. AI1. Okay. Now let's see here. We're gonna clear the Kratos pool. We're gonna get break 2 from our naval ram. We're gonna exhaust the naval ram from cumbersome. Then we're gonna get, we probably wanna do an opening token. Because let's see, with Herodotus we'll go, well, yeah, actually it's nice that this wall was here because now Herodotus can still get the bonus precision from Solon there. How many break tokens do I think I need with Solon to wound? I mean, getting a third one would be nice. So maybe we could do, let's do an opening for this. And then maybe he uses Analyticos module to gain another break token. Because then we'll still only need 6 or higher to hit. Right, yeah, he does not have any to spare. And we'll have +1 precision from Solon. Okay, so Solon's turn is done. Then it's going to be Herodotus's turn, who will go. It's going to move 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Go there. We could use Rush with him, but if we use Rush, we're not going to be able to get the bonus precision from Solon. So we could end up using Rush and get an auto break from that and use the Analyticos modules for an opening, but then we're just basically gaining an extra fate for no reason at all. So with this, we're going to use a fate, go from 3 fate to 4, and exhaust Analyticos module to gain a break token. And then we're going to attack, right? Oh yeah, no, first we wanted to do our Force Kratos reaction to get a rage, so we will get a power reroll with him if we need it. And then we are going to attack now, so it'll give us 2 rage total. Then we need a 6 or higher. We'll fate reroll that. Go from 4 fate to 5. We got a 9. It's great. So we're going to get a BP2 there. We have anything for the first ability window? I don't think so. Okay. 8. Ooh, that's going to be tough. We only have 2 black and a red. Well, on the bright side, if we miss this, we still just have an AI1 and a BP1 on top, but we'll see if we have any Titans die. Yeah, I prioritized trying to wound as quickly as possible in this fight as opposed to like thinking about spacing and attacking, with my thought process being that, okay, if we have to go another AI round, like I feel okay. Like Herodotus is definitely at risk. Ooh, actually, I have not been paying attention to the priority target, and that has now made Herodotus the priority target. So that's a little, could screw us a little bit. But yeah, it's pretty likely we're not going to wound this. Okay, yeah, there's nothing else we can get here, right? Nope, I don't think so. All right, come on. So that would be 4. So even if we re-roll just the red, the highest we could get is 6. I don't think we could even wound this if we wanted to. If we wanted to do a reroll. Yeah, because even if we did, let's say we got this side instead, that'd be 2, 4. That's still a max of 6. Yeah, we can't do this with 1 power reroll. So we fail to wound. We will knock back 7. 1. Oh, and I forget which Titan gets displaced in this case. And according to the law of ATO, if a Titan ends involuntary movement on a space occupied by another Titan, the other Titan is displaced. So our Solon will be displaced here. Solon gets displaced. Herodotus is going to get knocked back, suffer 1 danger, and suffer knockdown. So I may be punished a little bit here for trying to just be aggressive and get this extra wound before the next primordial round. And we may have to pay for that. Okay. We'll deal with that if we need to. And I think that means we're going to have to end the attack there, right? So yeah, this goes into the discard. These come out. We're only going to get an opening or a break. We'll do a break since we have, what's it called? Since we have Arrow Barrage. Also, I'm not too upset about this. Like, if we lose a Titan, that kind of sucks, but maybe we also get our Pyrisclepios a little bit earlier if Philocter is the one to deal this other wound. But hopefully we don't just get annihilated right now. So that is going to end our Titan round. We'll refresh everybody here. These will come off. Draw our AI card. And we're going to get Tentacle Lash. Temenos uses one of its springy tentacles as a whip. This is going to be Titan on vantage point. Nobody's on the vantage point. Closest Titan in front in range. That's going to be a tie between Herodotus and Solon. However, Herodotus has the priority target token. So we're going to move Temenos forward 1 space. And then Herodotus will get a Despair token. And then put that there. Tentacle Lash. Get 3 dice at 9 or higher. 3 or more fate. Gain an extra Despair token, which Herodotus does have 3 or more fate. And each hit is going to deal 2 danger. So we're hoping to get at least 1 evade here, so that we can avoid drawing an obol. That is 3 hits. Do I want to gain 3 fate for this? Maybe. I'm not expecting to, like, it increases my chance of surviving, and we're not expecting to stay in this fight for very long. So we'll reroll all 3. And we got 1 evade. That's good. So we have, we're going to get 2 hits here. That's going to be 4 danger, right? Because we don't have any armor dice with him right now. So go from 4 to 8 danger. That would be a grave trauma still. All right. We got Godly Resolve. You may discard all condition cards, condition tokens, and ambrosia tokens, or lose 3 fate. Oh, interesting. So we could use it to discard Knockdown. Notably, we cannot use it to discard the Despair. After attack, he'd be knocked back 8, which he would just stay right where he is and take 1 more danger. I mean, he's going to have to do that anyway because he wouldn't even be able to reflex out of the way. So let's just, I don't know, I guess we'll just use it for 3 fate because we're going to, it doesn't really matter. Yeah, sure, why not? I'll just use it for reducing the 3 fate. That goes away. Then knockback 8. We're gonna get knocked back into the wall. We're gonna stay in that same position. We're just gonna gain a danger going from 8 to 9. Cool. That ends that attack. Now we'll move on to the signature. And we're going to be furthest Titan, not in front, in range. 1, 2, 3. He can get to Ulyssia. She's not going to be able to OOR. That's okay. So we could go 1, 2, 3, or we could go 1, 2, 3. Let's go here. Then we'll just have Phylactery come from behind and be able to deal that wound from behind him and resolve a face or fear effect on the fear card, and we'll be able to evolve Pyramidion. All right, so Tentacle Strike on Ulyssia. Be 3 dice. Oh, geez. At 10 or higher. Oh, she gets a despair token. 10 or more. None of those evade. If she doesn't evade any of them, she's gonna get, actually, I'm sorry. She's gonna have to roll 1 more die because we have this. We do have 4 or more fate. It's 5. So she's about to take 4 hits. So it's gonna be 8 danger. So Ulysses is probably gonna be continuing her pattern of. She actually evades on a 9 or higher. Because she has +1 evasion. We'll spend, why not? Let's spend 4 fate to reroll all of them. She goes up to 9 fate. Still, crit evade fail. Does she have anything that penalizes her for that? She does not. All right, so that's going to be plenty of hits. That's 4. It's going to be 8 danger. So she's going to go from 7 danger to 15, which means she is going to have to add the Fate Worse Than Death effect into the Obol card before she resolves that Obol draw. I swear, like, Ulyssia can just not survive a fight. All right, now let's roll a die here. Boom. 8 mod 3 is going to be 2, so we'll go 1, 2. Oops, 2. Oh my gosh, Ulyssia might survive a fight. This is crazy. Okay, this is a good omen. This is a good omen. Shouldn't matter with having to draw Obols here, but let's just shuffle these around. Roll a die. That's going to be 1. Oh my gosh, if I can put these back in the slot over here. Okay. And then Labyrinth 1. It's going to be a Z tile. Do I care about her reflexing out of this? Not particularly. I'm not putting too much thought into this, to be honest, right now, because I'm hoping we can just get 1 more wound with Phylactery and call it. Cutting off the video here because I started having more technical issues with my main camera, and I forgot to unpause my microphone after I took a break. So at this point I had just come up from behind Temenos with Phylactery and got off the last wound with them, so there wasn't really much else that we're missing here. And then we just did our resource gathering at the end. So we'll call it there. I will see you all in the next video. Take care.